What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Anubis the Gamer Archer here with a brand new video, and may the force be with everyone as we kick off Star Wars month here on both my YouTube and Twitch channel. Over on Twitch, we will be streaming only Star Wars games all month, including retro classics like Jedi Academy, Revenge of the Sith, the movie video game, Force Unleashed, of course, I should say, KOTR 2. I actually just finished KOTR, the first one, last week on the stream, which is why it's not included in this current list, because we literally just beat it on stream last week. But we're going to be playing a bunch of Star Wars games on my Twitch stream. So do go over to my Twitch and give me a follow. Link is in the description box below, so it's on your screen right now. Now, to kick off Star Wars month, I figure what better way to start it off than talking about Finn. A common talking point on YouTube for Star Wars content creators is thoughts on what Disney and Star Wars could have done better for the character as Finn is generally considered to be the biggest wasted potential in the Star Wars, film era right now. He's the one who everyone had very high expectations for. Everybody wanted to see what he could do. His character just kind of got thrown away and wasted and didn't live up to potential that we as fans of the films, put it up to. Well, today I want to give my 2 cents on the character Finn and what I would like to see, because when I see those other videos, they speak of Finn in a finality way, as in it speak of Finn as if his character is done, if his character has died off. But he isn't dead, which means Disney could push Lucasfilms to give Finn a solo film or even a solo trilogy. The general feel around Finn is that he had a lot of potential and was wasted, thrown away, or just simply didn't live up to what we fans thought we'd get from his character. The common trait amongst Star Wars content creators that make lore videos is Finn becoming a Jedi. This is what a lot of fans wanted and didn't get, so a lot of what if videos on YouTube are just that, Finn becoming a Jedi. I always feel like the issue with Star Wars right now isn't the content itself, but how people in power seemingly don't care about fanfare. Something Marvel cares a lot about. The entirety of Spider-Man No Way Home is fanfare. Doctor Strange Multiverse Madness has a lot of fanfare. More often than not, Marvel gives fans what we want. Things are still changing up in a way, that still leaves surprises and have creative freedom for the directors and screenwriters. But generally, Marvel fans leave Marvel films and TV shows very satisfied and happy with how things turned out. If Star Wars was a Marvel property instead of Lucasfilms, I do think Marvel would have pulled the trigger on not only making Finn a Jedi, but giving him his own solo films. Now, when I say if Star Wars was a Marvel property, I'm not saying Marvel should get the reins and control of Star Wars. That's not what I'm saying. I think Lucas should still stay in control of Star Wars. Lucasfilms, that is, not George Lucas himself. But I think they should take the idea that Marvel has. They're both Disney properties. They should took the idea that Marvel has when it comes to how they go about their business and apply it to Star Wars. Now, this is the same company that filled Black Widow, of all characters, deserved her own movie and gave Hawkeye his own TV show. So Marvel is very, very big on giving lesser characters, not want to say lesser characters, it's kind of like mean to say, but like support characters their own time to shine. And Finn was definitely a character who deserved his own time to shine. But before we go into what I think Lucasfilms could have done or should have done with Finn, I want to talk about social importance of Finn becoming a Jedi. Which I know this subject will trigger a select group of people who don't like it when gender or race is mentioned. But this is the real world, deal with it. In Star Wars films, there isn't really any major Black Jedi characters. The fact that there's only one major Black Jedi character in Star Wars films, Mace Windu. He's literally the only major character in the Star Wars mythos, not even just the films. Like, even if you include, the stuff that's not even canon, Mace Windu is the biggest major Black character throughout the mythos of Star Wars. Even when it comes to Windu, though, he's still, for the most part, a supporting character. He's not a main lead. He's a supporting character, and was, eventually just thrown out of the window, literally. It's not to say that there isn't any Black Jedi. The key word there is any. Capitalize all three, the A, N, and Y. There is, when I say there isn't any Black Jedi, there are some throughout the Star Wars, but most of them, especially the movies, are glorified extras like Idea Galia. There's Stas Ali. Both those existed before and were just killed off. But they're literally just extras. That's why I'm called them glorified extras, because they're basically who they are. Who those 2 characters I just named are. I think they're related to. They're cousins. They aren't important characters. They aren't storied characters. There aren't anything close to popularity or importance as Mace Windu. They're just filler characters who are just thrown on your screen. here they are, and then they get killed off. You know, Windu, on the other hand, you know, he's one of the, like, a very powerful Jedi. He's one of the best duelists in the mythos of Star Wars. So he's a very important character. And Samuel Jackson is Samuel Jackson. He's a legend in Hollywood. So it's massive. Before someone says, what about, you know, Seer and what about Trilla? Those are video game characters. And though, you know, Jedi Fallen Order is canon, I'm strictly talking about Star Wars films and live action TV shows. So yes, it means we're excluding animated series. Also, Trilla's dead and Seer is a support character. This is about main leads being, you know, main characters. Now, I know the likely response to this is the regurgitated thing I see often when this kind of subject comes up, which is, you know, y'all know where this is going. The usual comment that comes in, not even just the Star Wars community, but any community, when anyone mentions the lack of racial inclusion, and I quote, Star Wars doesn't happen in our galaxy. It's not on Earth, so it wouldn't have Earth concepts of race. My response to that is Star Wars isn't real. It's a fictional, you know, piece of art created on Earth and uses Earth humans, so should have Earth humans of all races and prominent roles. You know, I don't care if it takes place in a galaxy far, far away and thus wouldn't have, you know, Earth concepts of race. That's not the point. Who cares about the fiction? We're talking about the reality. In IRL, there's multiple races of people, and a lot of those races would definitely like to see themselves portrayed in a role that they would like to see. If you're a Black Star Wars fan, you might want to see a Black Jedi. That's just kind of how it goes. The fact of the matter is, when I and people who, you know, share the same melanated complexion as me watch these films, we notice a lack in Jedi and Sith that look like us. So the next response will be, well, Ahsoka is played by Rosario Dawson. She looks like you. Rosario identifies as multiracial, though I personally will call her Black. Not everyone in the Black community would, and a lot of her wouldn't see past her name and would assume that she was Latinx more so than being Black herself. My point is, I shouldn't have to get, you know, that urge or that feeling of having representation of melanated people in this genre, in this series, by playing non-canon video games. You know, I feel like that'll also be a response to, like, you can make a Black character in KOTR and KOTR 2 and the Old Republic. It's like, those are video games, they're not canon, and it doesn't, that's not the same thing. We're only talking about a live action TV series or live action movie. And I understand this one as well. I'm not saying there should be like an all Black Star Wars movie. Like, I'm not saying there needs to be like a shit ton of, make the entire cast Black writers, Black directors. I'm not saying any of that. Basically, I'm talking about one. Basically, just give me one main character who's Black and a Jedi or Sith. I'm okay with that too. And that one person is Finn. Finn could have been for Star Wars what Luke Cage and Black Panther was for Marvel. Because of Luke Cage TV series on Netflix, a lot of Black people started caring about the character. A lot of Black people got into Marvel. Luke Cage became an outlet to get the Black community into Marvel, because a lot of Black people, you know, there are some nerds out there, but a lot of, you know, the core Black community don't really care about comic books and comic book movies, but they got interested in it because of Luke Cage. Black Panther was a hit. Non-comic book fans, you know, they raised to see that film. My grandmother, who never watched cartoons or read comics or cared about these kind of films, knows who Black Panther is now. He became a household name, not just in the Black community, but all communities, especially because, you know, the movie was very good. He had a very prominent role in Captain America Civil War. Chadwick Boseman did an amazing job playing the character. T'Challa became a massive, important character. And yes, he's important in the comic books as well, but you all have to take yourself out of the thought process of being a hardcore fan and think of the mass audience, which is usually not hardcore fans, or just casual people who want to take their kids to see a film, and that's what they saw. So a lot of Black people who don't read comic books, who don't watch cartoons, who don't play video games, saw Black Panther and were just astonished by it and became huge fans of the character. Star Wars doesn't have that character, but could have. Finn could have been that character, and still could be that character, because in a world of squares, when a circle sees another circle, we are drawn to each other. Before getting into the next part of this video, where I'm talking about how I like to see Finn as a Jedi, you know, what story could be told with him, and I just want to say it and get it out the way. So that group of people who will be angry at this video, you know, and go on rants and tell their echo chamber of friends, you know, about this video don't want Star Wars to turn into, you know, a CWDC like film series. I get it. I too wouldn't want Star Wars to be like those CW shows. I don't want Star Wars to be like those CW shows. This isn't about, you know, turning Star Wars into to a teen drama that plays into politics or any kind of agenda. This isn't an agenda-based video. This isn't about politics. This is just a Star Wars fan who like to see a couple main characters, Jedi and or Sith, that looks like me. And with that said, constructive critiques of the idea wouldn't be looked down. I'm 100% okay with anyone replying with, you know, critiques of how they will go about Finn and or having any kind of like person of color as a main character in Star Wars. But I will also say any angry replies with insults or ignorance, that'll just get deleted and probably flagged. So if you're going to comment anything of those nature, the latter two, ignorance or insulting, don't waste your time. Anyways, get back on topic. So Jedi Finn, what would that entail? Well, I see Finn as another Jedi type as Anakin, Luke, and Ahsoka, as in characters who show a lot of emotion, which in general, the Clone Wars era of Jedi frowned upon the idea of Jedi's having emotion, Jedi showing feelings, anger, sadness, love, all of it. I don't want to see Finn be a live action Jedi Sentinel as well, which will be a new for the big screen, as the idea of a Jedi Sentinel isn't a well-known thing to the mass audience. Yes, the diehard fans are aware of what a Sentinel is, but the bulk of people who take their families to see these films don't know what a Sentinel is. So for those people who, you know, don't know what a Sentinel is, what is a Sentinel? Well, if you do a quick search on what they are described as a Jedi that prefers to work, you know, directly amongst the citizens in the galaxy, not to be, you know, confined to any form of Jedi's temple. They're not the ones who you'll see around, you know, let's say you watch the prequel trilogy. They're not going to be the ones who you see in the Jedi Council. They're not going to see them just around other Jedi all that often. They're usually by themselves, and they're kind of like an undercover, you know, think of like an espionage kind of style, or another way you can describe them is like a high-level military operatives who are undercover in any territories. They don't look like the U.S. military. They look like locals. They you know, they're trying to blend in. They're gathering intel, doing dangerous missions, etc., etc., etc. That's what I would view as, you know, a Jedi Sentinel. One of the biggest identifying factors of a Jedi Sentinel in lore is their yellow lightsabers. Only once has the yellow lightsaber been seen in live action films by a major character, and that was Rey at the end of The Rise of Skywalker. So I think by making Finn a Jedi Sentinel, giving him a yellow lightsaber, you'll be able to expand on the mythos of a Sentinel, let them be into the Star Wars films, and go beyond just having a character have a yellow saber for the last movie and actually have it in action. Because again, Rise of Skywalker is considered to be the last of the trilogy. We're probably done with Rey, so we're not going to be able to see a yellow saber in action. So with that, I think having Finn be a Jedi Sentinel will be fitting for his character and his personality type. As well, I think Rey being his teacher would also be fitting, so now we have a way to bring Rey back into the franchise, but as a support character, not a main character. I generally don't think you have to change up a lot about, you know, Finn's character as is. Like, a lot of people want to do what is when it comes to Finn. They retcon a lot of what has already happened to make Finn fit into how they want his character to go. I think you can have everything as is and then go from here. You can go from here with his whole film being, you know, let's say that there was a time skip where him and Rey spent like 5 years training together, you know, so she can help him become a better Jedi, things like that. You can continue that. You can, I believe both John Boyega and the actress who played Jana, is how you pronounce her name, they both said that the idea for their characters was to be a love interest. You can continue that as well as having Finn be in love or be even married to Jana's character in his own films, and you can go from there. You don't have to retcon what has already happened to make Finn who we would want to see him as when it comes to him in a Jedi. You don't have to retcon all this kind of stuff. You can go from here and you can have Rey and Finn basically rebuilding the Jedi Order, but more so going about the way of it, the way that the High Republic went about it, the same way that Luke was going about it as well in the books, where Luke in the books, when it came to his Jedi teachings, was accepting those who have emotions, accepting those who, you know, not trying to like force people to hide their feelings and just allow it to happen, allowing marriages to be a thing in the Jedi Order, allowing people to show their emotions. Another small little detail that I will want to happen for a Finn standalone movie or trilogy, I also think Finn should have his own little faction of former stormtroopers. You know, because him being a former stormtrooper, I think it's a good idea to play on that, to have him have feelings towards, not like a like love or anything like that, but like actual like feelings towards, you know, wanting to have a redemption for those who were stormtroopers, but they didn't want, they didn't actually believe in, you know, the Empire, but they want to redeem themselves. So he leads a small group that want to redeem themselves and wash their Empire sins away. With this small group, you know, Jedi Sentinel Finn do their best to protect the less fortunate in the galaxy. You know, that's what they do. Finn and his group of former stormtroopers, they go around the galaxy protecting the innocents, you know, fighting like other stormtroopers, or, you know, maybe come back with some Sith apprentices, things like that, some dark Jedi. I think it'd be cool for Star Wars to start moving into, you know, that idea of, you know, a Sith Empire versus, you know, in live action. You know, you have the Sith Empire and, like, you know, the Old Republic. Like the Sith Empire was a thing, and like in the non-canon stuff, you know, I think it's also mentioned, you know, throughout the history, but never actually seen. Like, instead of, you know, once again going with a regular empire, you can have a Sith Empire instead. And, you know, Finn and Rey eventually come back to, you know, the temple together, and, you know, lead an army of Jedi versus an army of Sith, and go from there. Just an idea, but a general small contained Finn movie doesn't have to be anything that grandiose. It could just be Finn as a Jedi, you know, Sentinel, and his small group of former stormtroopers just protecting the galaxy. It could be something just small and confined from one movie. Generally, I just want something more out of the character of Finn. He doesn't have to be wasted. No, but as well, this can be done with a brand new unnamed character for future movies or future TV series. It doesn't necessarily have to be Finn. This idea for this video doesn't have to actually just be Finn. It could be anyone. Finn's just, you know, the vessel who you could use for it, an easy vessel who you could use for it. This isn't a what if video. It's a discussion video about making the best out of a character and having a main character that is a person of color. I know many would disagree, but I don't care. It's my channel. Cry about it, disagree in your echo chamber of friends. Not my problem. I might revisit this idea again at a later date, but for now, I think it's a good, you know, stopping point to wrap up the video. It's been a pretty long video. Not my longest video, but it's a pretty long video. I might have an even longer video planned at a later date. But next time we'll talk about my opinion of the character Rey as well. You know, we'll have some videos about Star Wars video games. You know, we'll have a whole month. This whole month is going to be nothing about Star Wars videos on here. Even for Archery Friday, I have a video Archery Friday planned. It's going to be about archery and Star Wars. So we're trying to encompass a lot of things into Star Wars for this month of May. We having discussions about many things, including a tier list video for the video games as well, video game characters and things like that, because this is a gaming channel. With all that said, that's it for me. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a good day. Be kind to one another. So y'all stay safe. I've been your boy Anubis, the Gamer Archer. I'm out. Anubis. Deuces.